Hello and welcome to episode 66 of my playthrough of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, where I will not be using Charm or Intimidate dialogue options, and will not be using Paragon or Renegade interrupts. Alright, before we continue on here, I should probably go through some more Codex stuff. Let's do weapons, armor, and equipment.
Although melee combat applications for the Omni tool are almost as old as the device itself, the feature was largely unused prior to the Reaper invasion. The need to take on multiple husks in close quarters forced the Alliance to develop ways to enhance the tool's offensive capability. The most common melee design is the Omni Blade, a disposable silicon carbide weapon flash-forged by the tool's mini-fabricator. The transparent, nearly diamond-hard blade is created and suspended in a Mass Effect field safely away from the user's skin. Warning lights illuminate the field so the searing hot blade only burns what it is intended to: the opponent. More technically adept soldiers frequently modify their Omni tools to maximize stopping power through electrical, kinetic, or thermal energy. Some troops integrate the weapon with their kinetic barriers, transforming the Omni tool into a wrist-mounted bludgeon. Others fabricate flammable gases, held in place by a Mass Effect field and ignited upon impact. All prove deadly surprises for opponents who expect a disarmed Alliance warrior.
Alright, let's do technology.
Biotics is the ability of rare
Wow.
individuals to manipulate dark energy and create Mass Effect fields through the use of electrical impulses from the brain. Intense training and surgically implanted amplifiers are necessary for a biotic to produce Mass Effect fields powerful enough for practical use. The relative strength of biotic abilities varies greatly among species and with each individual. There are three branches of biotics. Telekinesis uses mass-lowering fields to levitate or impel objects. Mass-raising kinetic fields are used to block or pin objects. Distortion uses rapidly shifting mass fields to shred objects. Most organic species are capable of developing biotic abilities, though there are risks involved. Biotics are the result of in utero exposure to element 0. This usually causes fatal cancers in the victim, but in rare cases it coalesces into nodules within the fetus's developing nervous system. When subjected to an electrical current, the rare material dubbed Element 0, or EZO, emits a dark energy field that raises or lowers the mass of all objects within it. This mass effect is used in countless ways, from generating artificial gravity to manufacturing high-strength construction materials. It is most prominently used to enable faster-than-light space travel. EZO is generated when solid matter, such as a planet, is affected by the energy of a star going supernova. The material is common in the asteroid debris that orbits neutron stars and pulsars. These are dangerous places to mine, requiring extensive use of robotics, telepresence, and shielding to survive the incredible radiation from the dead star. Only a few major corporations can afford the setup costs required to work these primary sources. Humanity discovered refined Element 0 at the Prothean Research Station on Mars, allowing them to create Mass Effect fields and develop FTL travel. Element 0 can increase or decrease the mass of a volume of space-time when subjected to an electrical current. With a positive current, mass is increased. With a negative current, mass is decreased. The stronger the current, the greater the magnitude of the dark energy mass effect. In space, low-mass fields allow FTL travel and inexpensive surface-to-orbit transit. High-mass fields create artificial gravity and push space debris away from vessels. In manufacturing, low-mass fields permit the creation of evenly blended alloys, while high-mass compaction creates dense, sturdy construction materials. The military makes extensive use of mobility-enhancing technologies, with Mass Effect utilizing fighting vehicles standard frontline issue in most military forces. Mass effect fields are also essential in the creation of kinetic barriers or shields to protect against enemy fire. Once believed to be of Prothean origin, mass relays were in fact created by the Reapers, using technology far beyond that of other living species. The enormous structures, scattered throughout the stars, create corridors of virtually mass-free space. This allows instantaneous transit between locations normally separated by years or even centuries, using conventional FTL drives. Primary mass relays can propel ships thousands of light years. The flight path, however, is fixed to a single relay elsewhere in the galaxy. By contrast, secondary relays, while only capable of propelling ships a few hundred light years, can reach any other relay within their limited range. Many primary relays lie dormant, their destinations not yet known. These relays are often left inactive on purpose, as established civilizations are unwilling to blindly open a passage that might connect them to a new hostile species. The Reapers do not share the same concern, and freely use the dormant relays. Metagel is a common medicinal salve used by paramedics, EMTs, and military personnel. It combines several useful applications: a local anesthetic, disinfectant, and clotting agent all in one. Once applied, the gel is designed to grip tight to flesh until subjected to a frequency of ultrasound. It is sealable against liquids, most notably blood, as well as contaminants and gases. The gel is a genetically engineered bioplasm created by the CERTA Foundation, a medical technology megacorp based on Earth. Technically, Metagel violates Council laws against genetic engineering, but so far it has proved far too useful to ban. Omni-tools are handheld devices that combine a computer microframe, sensor analysis pack, and manufacturing fabricator. Versatile and reliable, an Omni-tool can be used to analyze and adjust the functionality of most standard equipment, including weapons and armor, from a distance. The fabrication module can rapidly assemble small three-dimensional objects from common reusable industrial plastics, ceramics, and light alloys. This allows for field repairs and modifications to most standard items, as well as the reuse of salvaged equipment. Omni-tools are standard issue for soldiers and first-in colonists.
Alliance News Network. Founded during the early decades of human space expansion, the Alliance News Network was originally a low-profile news organization known mostly for a series of exposés on the First Contact War, with a focus on galaxy-wide reporting. The ANN opened bureaus on planets across known space, winning a few awards for excellence and earning a multi-species audience. The Alliance News Network has never been funded by the Systems Alliance, despite what its name might imply. This led to regular confusion among those not in the know. Although the network's recent high-profile sale to a media conglomerate made the ownership structure clearer. The new management has opted for a more sensational approach. This is particularly obvious from changes to its roster of reporters, with a few of the network's luminaries retiring or joining other news organizations. The network's increasingly lurid programming has gained wide attention as well as sorely needed ratings, all the proof that management needed to validate its course. Nonetheless, ANN insists that integrity and credibility are inviolable standards in the newsroom. Battlespace is among ANN's highest-rated programs, known for a particularly titillating breed of reporting. Among the show's most noteworthy segments are Diana Allers' dispatches from the front lines. The network calls her reports gritty and realistic, but she has been criticized for her unabashed focus on the violence of war. Even critics of Allers agree, however, that despite her often graphic visuals, the facts she reports are just that, facts. Humanity's first contact with an alien race occurred in 2157. At that time, the Alliance allowed survey fleets to activate any dormant mass relays discovered, a practice considered dangerous and irresponsible by Council-aligned races. When a Turian patrol discovered a human fleet attempting to activate a relay, they attacked. One human vessel survived, retreating to the colony of Shangxi. The Turians followed quickly, defeating the local forces. Shangxi was occupied. The Turians followed quickly, defeating the local forces. Shangxi was occupied, the first and, to date, only human world to be conquered by an alien species. The Turians believed that a handful of ships they defeated represented the bulk of human defenses, so they were unprepared when the Second Fleet, under Admiral Castani Drescher, launched a strong counteroffensive, evicting them from Shangxi. The Turians mobilized for full-scale war, drawing the attention of the rest of the galaxy. The Council quickly intervened, forcing a truce. Fortunately for humanity, the First Contact War was ended with a diplomatic solution. Mass Effect timeline. Alright, so most of this is going to stay the same. Let's get to... Alright, 2185. An alien race known as the Collectors abducts thousands of human colonists in the Terminus systems. Commander Shepard leads a team beyond the Omega-4 relay to attack the Collectors where they live, stopping the abductions. 2186, current date. And 2183 was Mass Effect 1. Anyway, okay. Systems Alliance, Special Operations. Interplanetary Combatives Training, ICT, is the System Alliance's premier school for leadership and combat expertise. The Interplanetary Combatives Academy, sometimes called N-School or the Villa, recruits officers from every branch of Earth's militaries to participate in grueling courses at Villa Militar in Rio de Janeiro. I assume that's supposed to be Via Militar, and it just... anyway. Initially, candidates train for more than 20 hours per day, leading small combat teams through hostile terrain with little sleep or food. Trainees who do well are awarded an internal designation of N1 and are invited to return. Subsequent courses, N2 through N6, are often held off-planet and include instruction in zero-G combat, military freefall, parachuting, jetpack flight, combat diving, combat instruction, linguistics, and frontline trauma care for human and alien biology. The highest grade of training, N6, provides actual combat experience in conflict zones throughout the galaxy. If the trainee survives these scenarios in admirable and effective fashion, he or she finally receives the coveted N7 designation. N7 is the only ICT designation that may be worn on field or dress uniforms. There is little shame in failing an N course. The training is so extreme that even qualifying for N1 elevates an officer to a position of respect. The universal prestige of merely attending the academy helps to restrain trainees from taking excessive risks in pursuit of higher honors. Although ICT qualification by itself does not guarantee higher rank, those officers who are able to complete the program are typically well suited to senior leadership positions. Right, that's plenty of codex for now.
Shepard. It's done, Commander. The wounds and get the hell out of here. It's the right choice for you, Ash.
I don't know who you are, not since they got their hands on you.
Liara, can I help you?
I've been forwarding the Turian Counselor information on the Prothean device. It can't be built without Council support, but he's not budging until their Primarch is safe.
I know.
Are you all right?
I didn't get what you'd call a good night's rest.
There's more to it than that, isn't there? What's really bothering you?
People around me have a tendency to get hurt. Or worse. Ash is just the latest in a long line.
She's a soldier like you, and she's a fighter. If anyone can get better on will alone, it's her.
I hope you're right.
Don't blame yourself, Commander.
Commander Shepard, I'm Specialist... Oh. I beg your pardon. I thought you were alone.
I was just leaving.
Commander Shepard, I'm Comm Specialist Samantha Traynor with Alliance R&D. I was part of the team retrofitting the Normandy after you turned it over to the Alliance. There weren't many of us aboard when the Reapers hit.
Slow down, Specialist Trainer. You're doing fine.
Thank you. I worked in a lab. I never thought I'd be serving on a ship.
Why don't you tell me about the retrofits?
The ship's in line with Alliance regs now, and it has new, top-of-the-line, quantum entanglement communicators. In fact, Admiral Anderson had intended to use the Normandy as his mobile command center.
That's no longer an option.
Yes, I heard he chose to stay and fight. In any event, I'm honored to serve under you, Commander. For as long as you need me, that is. They only sent me here to oversee the retrofits.
Shepard, some of our systems require further testing, and Specialist Trainer has been extremely effective during installation. I would prefer that she remain.
Got it, Edie.
Oh, wait, since when does a virtual intelligence make requests?
Edie's an AI. Fully self-aware.
Oh, I knew it. I knew Joker was lying.
Jeff requested that I pretend to be a simple VI to protect myself. I apologize for the deception.
Thanks, Edie, and I apologize for all those times I talked about how... attractive your voice was. Anyway, shall I give you a tour? I think you'll be impressed by the new upgrades. In the CIC, you'll find the galaxy map where you can set the Normandy's destination. You can also check your messages at your private terminal. The War Room houses a strategic command center for mission-specific intel and war analysis. The shuttle bay contains an armory where you can modify your equipment between missions. Finally, Liara has set up a lot of hardware down in the old XO office on Deck 3. I think she's claimed that room. And there you are. Still the same ship as before, it just flies Alliance colors now. Speaking of which, I believe Admiral Hackett would like to speak to you at the VidCom.
Commander, Udina updated me on your meeting with the Council. Sounds like they're running scared.
We did present them with a lot of unknowns. They're feeling threatened and want immediate solutions, not theories.
Theories are all we've got right now. What's your plan?
I'm trying to get the Turian Primarch for a summit meeting with the Asari and Solarians. I'll bypass the Council and appeal directly to their leadership.
That's good, I like it. This is where we start laying the groundwork for our counterattack.
Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot to back it up right now.
Then build alliances. Gather everything and everybody you can for the cause.
What about the Prothean device?
Find me people who can help build it, and if you can't, I'll take ships, soldiers, supplies, whatever you can get. We need to keep hitting the Reapers across every theater of war they open. Buy us time to figure out the device.
And when it's finished?
Assuming it ever is, we pool all our resources. Think of it as a giant armada for delivering the device, when the Reapers are most vulnerable. The stronger you can make that armada, the better the chances of punching through.
What about Earth, sir?
We'll just have to hope Anderson, and what's left of the Alliance forces, can hold out until we've dealt with the enemy.
I understand.
Good. Then make it happen, Commander. I'll be expecting regular updates on your progress. Hack it out.
The people, weapons, armies, and fleets that you've accumulated are your war assets. The overall readiness of the galaxy determines how effectively these assets will perform in the final battle. Prothean Device. Completing the Prothean Device will require entire systems of resources and skilled workers, as well as the galaxy's brightest scientists. Crucible Blueprints. Plans recovered from the Prothean archives on Mars describe a dark energy superweapon, giving hope that there might be a weapon to effectively combat the Reapers. Although not originally of Prothean design, the text does describe much of this unknown technology yet to be deciphered. More samples of the Prothean language are needed to improve scientists' understanding of the device. The Alliance Engineering Corps cuts roads through mountains and builds bases on asteroids. While the bulk of the AEC has active wartime duties, their brightest are helping build a device of Prothean origin recovered on Mars. Due to the staggering amount of raw materials required, the AEC has been given unprecedented emergency funding for any Alliance resources that will not interfere with the deployment of troops. The Shadow Broker's strength lies in her connections. Dr. Liara Tassoni has a team of operatives able to procure almost any supplies at any time by using an extensive network of bribes, blackmail, and favors. This logistical support has become important to building the Crucible, as the disruption of communications and travel makes gathering resources risky at the best of times. The Crucible project requires enormous amounts of mineral resources for fuel construction and maintenance of its teams of workers. Updated. Commander Shepard uncovered significant elemental deposits while scanning planets with the Normandy SR-2. When the Alliance dry docked the Normandy, they seized all recovered elements. This material surplus has gone toward building the Prothean device discovered on Mars. Alliance. The Systems Alliance represents humanity's economic, political, and military reach throughout the galaxy. Its naval forces are led by Admiral Stephen Hackett. Alliance frigate Normandy SR-2. When the original SSV Normandy was destroyed, Cerberus rebuilt the ship from stolen Alliance plans. Dubbed the SR-2, the Alliance took the new Normandy apart and refitted some of its systems with new technology of its own. As a result, the SR-2 Normandy is the highest performing frigate in the entire Alliance Navy, and possibly the fastest ship in its class. The Normandy is commanded by Shepard, an Alliance officer and humanity's first Spectre. Updated. To bolster the Normandy's firepower, Commander Shepard installed a Thanex magnetic hydrodynamic cannon on the ship's undercarriage. Based on Reaper technology, the powerful weapon fires molten metal accelerated to a fraction of the speed of light. Before taking on the Collectors, Commander Shepard reinforced the Normandy's superstructure with Solaris armor. This protective layer of carbon nanotube sheeting can withstand temperatures that would instantly vaporize more conventional armor. The Normandy has been upgraded with cyclonic barrier technology, allowing the ship's mass effect field projectors to fire rapidly oscillating barriers that deflect rather than directly absorb kinetic shocks. Alliance First Fleet. The First Fleet was stationed near the Charon Relay when the Reapers invaded the Sol system. By the time Admiral Hackett issued the order to retreat, its size, once the largest in the Alliance Navy, had been cut by half. Commanding Admiral Ines Lindholm made the painful decision to use a tenth of the fleet's remaining vessels as cover so the remainder could escape. Her gamble paid off as the First Fleet limped out of the relay to rally with the rest of the Alliance forces on the run. Updated. This fleet lost a third of its vessels protecting the Council during the Battle of the Citadel 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the Alliance did not have enough time to rebuild the fleet to its previous strength before the Reapers invaded. Stationed at Arcturus, the Third Fleet is headed by Admiral Nitesh Singh. When the Reapers came for the station, Singh had already pulled his command ship, the SSV Logan, back to an ideal firing position for its mass accelerator cannons. The Dreadnought's guns managed to slow down a destroyer before it could demolish the Third Fleet, but Singh was forced to retreat in the face of overwhelming opposition from the Reapers. This fleet lost a third of its vessels protecting the Council during the Battle of the Citadel 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the Alliance did not have time to rebuild the fleet to its previous strength before the Reapers attacked, or invaded. The Fifth Fleet became famous across the galaxy after spearheading Alliance forces at the Battle of the Citadel. It was guarding Arcturus Station when the Reapers attacked. After a bloody and desperate battle, Admiral Hackett gave the order to retreat, sacrificing the entirety of the Alliance Second Fleet to give the third and fifth the chance to escape. The Fifth Fleet's engineers are busy repairing its damaged vessels, grimly anticipating a return to Earth in revenge against the Reapers. This fleet lost a third of its vessels protecting the Council during the Battle of the Citadel 2 years ago. Unfortunately, Alliance did not have time to rebuild the fleet to its previous strength before the Reapers invaded. The Alliance's Sixth Fleet was traveling through Council space when Earth was invaded. The men and women on board helplessly watched the broadcast of the devastation. They are now stationed at Terra Nova, securing one of humanity's biggest colonies. The Seventh Fleet, comprised largely of cruisers and frigates, was previously responsible for patrolling the Skyllian Verge and conducting anti-pirate operations. However, the Reapers bypassed the fleet's location entirely while en route to Earth, given that the Seventh Fleet was stationed over Eden Prime at the start of the invasion. As a result, their current responsibilities are to protect and evacuate any remaining colonies in the area. Far from the borders of Citadel space, the Eighth Fleet primarily patrols the outskirts of the Skyllian Verge in the Terminus systems, and is best suited to policing pirates and smugglers. Dubbed the Wardens of the Verge, they are considered not only the most overstretched, but also the most under-resourced fleet in the Alliance Navy, mainly due to the frequent altercations that occur in the region. Commanded by the indomitable Rear Admiral Boris Mikhailovich, the 63rd Scout Flotilla is comprised primarily of fast-moving frigates, designed for long-range scouting and reconnaissance. What the ships lack in armor is made up for in both speed and agility. Every ship is armed with disruptor torpedoes and other ECM-based missiles, which are designed to both overheat and distract Guardian Point defense systems. This strain placed on the enemy armaments allows both cruisers and dreadnoughts to inflict extensive damage in quick succession. The old saying, "Every Marine is a rifleman," still holds true in the Alliance. Every Marine enlistee, from clerk to sniper, goes through a period of infantry training. As a result, the 103rd Marine Division is Earth's largest collection of Special Forces soldiers. Officers from notable battles, such as the Skyllian Blitz and the First Contact War, run harsh training exercises in a variety of environments, insisting the Marines be prepared to storm any beach on any planet. This training has been useful in the Reaper War, as the 103rd can be fighting in an Arctic desert one week, crawling through jungles the next. The 763rd Mechanized Division is the Alliance Marines' The 763rd Mechanized Division is the Alliance Marines' primary mechanized unit. It utilizes variations of the M35 Mako and M08 infantry fighting vehicles, a stock of aging M29 Grizzly IFVs, and is supported by A61 Mantis gunships in the M44 Hammerhead infantry support vehicle. The division also has an artillery battalion consisting of modified M80s and M29s, with the latest Thenix missiles and ground-to-air weapons. The division specializes in spearheading planetary invasion operations, establishing beachheads and landing zones. The Mako and Hammerhead are designed to maximize the speed of attack by deploying atmospherically from frigates into reasonably small but flat landing zones. Much of the division's mechanized capacity has been destroyed during the attack on Earth and Arcturus, and older vehicles are now being reclaimed from the colonies. If Earth is to be retaken, this unit will be vital, so the Alliance is keeping it in reserve. Alliance News Network reporter Diana Allers has been broadcasting from the Normandy, interviewing crew members and high-ranking Alliance officers to give the galaxy an insider's view of the war. N7 Special Forces. Although founded by the System Alliance military and overseen by the Alliance 5th Fleet, the N7 Special Forces quickly attracted and encouraged non-human units. With tactical cross-training and the application of diverse skill sets, the Lucky Sevens have become one of the most effective and unconventional forces against the Reapers. SSV Isaac Newton. The SSV Isaac Newton is the Systems Alliance battle carrier that houses the majority of the Coalition Special Division personnel. As the tactical mobile command and control center for all Special Forces operations, it also acts as a hospital, training facility, and communication hub. It is protected by numerous elements of the Alliance 5th Fleet and accompanied by various frigates and troop transports for quick deployment and insertions. Alliance Special Operations Brigade. The N category represents the pinnacle of Alliance Marine training. Intensely competitive entry standards, coupled with hard training both at the Interplanetary Combatives Academy and off-planet, ensures only the very best reach these levels. Each Marine specializes according to their skill set: infiltration, biotics, or the use of tech mines. The most experienced operatives form squads to secure objectives, evacuate civilians, and battle Cerberus or the Reapers deep in enemy territory. Industrial and economic support. According to General Napoleon Bonaparte, an army marches on its stomach. Based on this principle, the fight against the Reapers requires a constant resupply of food, armaments, and other resources. With Earth occupied by the Reapers, Coalition fleets rely heavily on human colonies and other races for support. Citadel support. Despite their refusal to help Earth militarily, the Council has offered to support the Alliance fleet in the form of fuel, repairs, and supplies. While damaged ships undergo repairs at the Citadel, their crews indulge in some overdue shore leave prior to their next deployment. Terra Nova economic support. The first Alliance colony established beyond the Charon Relay, Terra Nova remains a cornerstone of the Alliance colonial economy. In addition to supplying the fleet with food and manpower, it also contains rich deposits of platinum, a vital component for weapons and medical systems alike. Elysium Colonial Aid. Although halfway comprised of non-humans, Elysium, the Alliance's most populous colony, is a major hub for tourism and commerce. With the recent invasion, they have begun drafting colonists and supplying Alliance fleets with as many resources as they can spare. Minor colonial support. Human colonies across Alliance space and beyond are sending troops, supplies, and equipment to the Alliance fleets. The colonists have agreed to help in spite of often having to traverse dangerous space in small shuttles to deliver their cargo. Regardless of how much they have disagreed with the Systems Alliance in the past, they know that the Reapers will not stay isolated to Earth. Alright. I got through all that.
Commander, the Alliance has found a new Cerberus lab on Sanctum. Admiral Hackett would like you to investigate. Commander, come to check on your new recruit?
Just wanted to see how you were doing.
Still trying to get my bearings. When I was working on the Normandy's upgrades, I left at the end of the day. I didn't even have a toothbrush or a change of clothing until I made some emergency purchases on the Citadel.
Next time you need something, just ask. We're all in this together.
Oh, it's no trouble, Commander. I'm sure you have larger concerns.
We can put in a requisition order.
My toothbrush is a Cision Pro Mark IV. It uses tiny Mass Effect fields to break up plaque and massage the gums. It costs 6,000 credits.
Okay, yeah. You're on your own with that.
In any event, I appreciate you giving me the chance to stay. Was there anything else?
Where are you from originally?
A colony in the Terminus systems, actually. Though I studied on Earth, at Oxford. My parents were from London. They loved Earth, but they wanted the freedom a colony life could offer. Even if that freedom has its share of danger. If I recall correctly, you grew up on Mindwar.
Given what happened to Earth, I don't think we can count on anywhere being safe right now.
Quite true, Commander.
How'd you end up in the military anyway?
My family didn't have money for university. When the Alliance saw my aptitude scores, they offered me a full scholarship. I served my required years after graduation and decided to stay. I really like the challenges of the lab. Although, I'm sure I'll grow to love frontline service as well.
You worked in Alliance R&D?
Yes. You'd think quantum entanglement would make communication easy, but imagine incorporating multiple incoming sources and then networking them with extrapolations of time-lag data to construct a coherent situation GUI. It's an exciting challenge. For me, anyway.
I'm surprised you're worrying about a toothbrush. We've got bigger problems right now.
Oh, believe me. Seeing the Reapers on Earth was terrifying. But I won't help anybody by bursting into tears here in the CIC, will I? Being here on the Normandy helps. If anyone in the galaxy can stop the Reapers, it's you. And if flagging your messages and managing strategic intel helps you in any way, then it's worth it.
Carry on, Specialist.
Make sure she has nothing else to say.
Commander?
And Codex. Alliance Intelligence Services AIS database. Intel Bulletin, Reaper Invasion. Intel Bulletin, Urgent, Authorization Level, Cobalt 5. Report as follows. Under the Emergency War Powers Act, Fleet Admiral Stephen Hackett has assumed command as Supreme Commander of Alliance Military Forces. E-date 271805Z, September 2186. After instruction of the Systems Alliance Parliament at Arcturus Station, the order of battle has been updated. All former and current military personnel are required to proceed to nearest designated rally point for assignment and redeployment ASAP. Incursions by Reaper ground forces have been reported on Earth and Tatris. Evacuations by both Systems Alliance and Turian hierarchy for these locations were severely compromised due to limited orbital resources and overwhelming enemy opposition. Successful recovery of civilians was negligible. Nearby ships provided supply drops of munitions and long-range communications in order to coordinate and expedite ground-side resistance. Further reports by SIGINT and HUMINT also indicate Reaper presence throughout the Terminus systems, Attican Traverse, Systems Alliance, and Council Space regions. Primary targets are military infrastructure and logistical assets, focusing on fuel stations and supply routes to cripple ship movement and hinder counteroffensive action. Warnings have been broadcast to all civilian emergent vessels to avoid occupied territories. Travel should not be attempted unless escorted or providing emergency aid at one's own risk. Alpha roster of fortified fuel depots follows: Enos Basin, Pranas, Athena Nebula, Parnitha, Eagle Nebula, Emir, Horsehead Nebula, Pax, Krogan DMZ, Arlak, Nema Cluster, Miskim Xul, Omega Nebula, Sahara Barik, Rosetta Nebula, Enoch, Serpent Nebula, Widow, Salean Nebula, Kai Pladon. Have anything else to say? No, right? Okay. Let's see here. Private terminal. Ooh, tons of emails. I already read this, right? Yeah, I read this. Alliance Command, AIS Intelligence Database, from Alliance Intelligence Services. Commander, per your reinstatement and Admiral Hackett's instructions, you have been granted access to the Alliance Intelligence Services, AIS, database. This database is frequently updated with reports on major battles, conflicts, and other useful intelligence items. You have been cleared up to security level Cobalt 9. These documents are for your eyes only, and access is encrypted into your personal ID. You will find the information in your personal codex. Alliance Command, Systems Alliance, Revised Order of Battle. From Stephen Hackett. Effective immediately, all personnel are required to report to their respective commands. First Fleet. All First Fleet. Command, Admiral Ines Lindholm, Flagship, SSV Kilimanjaro. Third Fleet, all Third Fleet. Command, Admiral Nitesh Singh, Flagship, SSV Logan. Fifth Fleet, all Fifth Fleet. Command, Admiral Stephen Hackett, Flagship, SSV Orizaba. Sixth Fleet, all Sixth Fleet. Command, Admiral Tatus Ahern, Flagship, SSV Everest. Seventh Fleet, all Seventh Fleet. Command, Rear Admiral Giancarlo Angelina, Flagship, SSV Maxwell. 8th Frontier Fleet, all 8th Fleet. Command, Admiral Corwin Deswell, Flagship, SSV Sao Paulo. Normandy Spectre Operations, Norspec Cops. Command, Commander Shepard, Flagship, Normandy SR2. As per Spectre Code and Alliance regulations, the Normandy is authorized to operate under its own command. Earth Resistance Command, Com Solres. Command, Admiral David Anderson. Location, redacted. 5th Fleet Command assumes overall control of the following operations. 63rd Scout Flotilla, all 63rd Fleet Flotilla. Commander, Admiral Boris Mikhailovich. Flagship, SSV Alamein. All 63rd Flotilla additionally assumes responsibility for the Naval Exploration Flotilla. N Special Operations Brigade, N7 Spec War Crew. Command, General Jason Von Greth, Flagship, SSV Isaac Newton. Alliance Intelligence Service, AIS. Command, redacted. Location, redacted. Alliance Fleet Auxiliary, all Ox Fleet. Command, Admiral Carla Cimetto, Flagship, SSV Nile. Alliance Research and Development, all RD Group. Command, Dr. Charles Nevin. Location, Citadel, Shaltra, Beckenstein. Marine infantry and specialized divisions are being reorganized under the command of the 130th and 763rd, respectively, reporting to Com 5th Fleet for detachment deployment orders. Sincerely, Admiral Stephen Hackett. Warning, addendum for Eyes of Cobalt 9 security cleared personnel only. Addendum following also fall under direct 5th Fleet Command. Special Project Division, Alpha, Special Project Division Alpha. SpecRuck. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to stand for. Command, Dr. Grim Kjell Locke. Location, redacted. Task Force Aurora, Spara. Command, Dr. Garrett Bryson. Location, Citadel. Task Force Hercules, Spurk. Command, Major Rickard Gaskin. Location, redacted. Lieutenant Cortez, delivery marked personal, from Stephen Cortez. Commander, while we were docked at the Citadel, we received a large case marked for your personal attention. I scanned it, and it looks like it contains a lot of high-end weaponry. ED reassures me it was stored by members of your former crew, but I still need your authorization. Let me know if you want to allow it on board, and I'll move it over to the armory. Cortez, accept delivery. Armax Arsenal Arena, from your friends at Armax Arena. From Armax Arsenal Arena team, dear Commander Shepard, we here at Armax Arsenal are huge fans of yours, and we can't tell you how much we value your efforts. In an effort to raise both awareness and morale here on the Citadel, we've recently reskinned the holographic enemies in our simulator to look like your past enemies. We got a big surge of viewer interest when we added Geth enemies a few years back, after their attack on the Citadel, and we're adding Reaper forces as well. We understand how busy you are, but if you ever feel like unwinding on shore leave and giving our viewers a taste of what a real military veteran can do, we would love to have you come compete. You've got a complimentary pass waiting for you whenever you're interested. Thanks again, your friends at Armax Arsenal. Alliance Command, Priority Mission, Eden Prime. From Alliance Command, Commander, Cerberus has attacked Eden Prime and is now occupying the colony. Alliance forces are stretched too thin right now to attempt to liberate the colony, but we've been doing what we can to covertly aid the local resistance. In the process, we've learned that Cerberus has uncovered a major Prothean artifact. We don't know what it is, but it appears to be the reason for the attack on the colony. We need you to infiltrate the colony and recover the artifact. Glyph. Upgrade. From Glyph. Dear Commander Shepard, as of the data you found, some of the data you found allowed me to research an upgrade for you. Simply access the terminal and dock to Sony's office at your convenience, and you may choose how and when to implement it. Have a pleasant day. Glyph. Edie, welcome back. From Edie. While we were in dry dock, Joker suggested that a small welcoming gift would be appropriate to have on hand, should you be reinstated as commanding officer. As the ship does not have the capacity to accommodate the dancers he suggested, I chose something from the official Systems Alliance catalog. Soldiers who have held an N7 designation for 5 years or more are entitled to a commemorative hooded jacket for wear on off-duty hours. You will find it among the selection of casual clothing in your cabin. Edie. Alliance Command, Turian Special Forces. Shepard, we're getting reinforcements. A group the recruits are calling N7 Special Ops. They're soldiers, mercenaries, and other operations, and they've been surprisingly effective against the Reapers with Alliance support. They're not technically N7, but I'm willing to let the nickname slide so long as it remains unofficial. They've fought through some of the toughest battles in this war, and I'm not going to begrudge them the morale boost. With the whole galaxy at war, I've ordered the ops to the front lines to rendezvous with our forces. They'll provide invaluable support on the ground. Hackett. Brown, Andrea. KEI-9. Subject, my dog. Dear Commander Shepard, I was a contractor working on the Normandy's haptic interface when it was in dry dock. Your VIED emailed me to let me know I left my dog mech on board. I'm all the way out in Terra Nova now and would hate for you to go a million clicks out of your way to drop off my dog. Please just take care of her. She likes exploring, sniffing chemical trails, and 750-volt outlets. Thank you, and sorry for the trouble. I promise she won't be too much of a headache. Andrea Brown. Oh. I haven't read this one. Okay. Alliance Fleet Operations, Emergency Flash Traffic. From Alliance Fleet Operations. Flash, X1A.34. All Alliance military personnel. This is a galaxy-wide alert for all human territories. Fleet Admiral Hackett has declared threat condition Saber 1. Enemy presence confirmed in Sol System. Earth under Reaper attack. All Alliance military personnel are directed to evacuate Sol System at first available opportunity. Do not attempt Earth approach. Heavy enemy resistance reported. Repeat, do not attempt Earth approach. Further instructions to follow on coded channel Crimson Tacit. Earth-based Alliance personnel unable to evacuate are directed to commence any and all necessary countermeasures. All remaining Alliance personnel outside Sol Theater are directed to muster at pre-appointed station areas and commence offensive combat operations at first available opportunity. In absence of further instruction, independent action is authorized. Alliance Command, reinstatement. From Stephen Hackett. Commander Shepard, this letter formally acknowledges your reinstatement into the Alliance Navy per Admiral David Anderson's recent verbal communication. Under Emergency War Powers Regulation 903.5, you are hereby authorized to assume command of the Normandy SR-2. You are directed to begin interdiction operations against any and all enemies posing a threat to Earth, its colonies, and its allies. Furthermore, you are granted diplomatic authority to establish treaties with non-human races as required to support your mission. Sincerely, Admiral Stephen Hackett. Alliance Command, Special Operations. From Stephen Hackett. Commander Shepard, with the Alliance stretched thin across the galaxy, we need your specific talents for a series of ops. These missions will open doors for the Alliance in places we can't touch through conventional means. After your missions are completed, we can send in Alliance Marines to hold the objectives. I've sent mission dossiers to your operations team and will continue to brief you when you're inbound. Sincerely, Admiral Stephen Hackett. Alright, Spectre Terminal, Quarian Fleet Intel. Quarian Pilgrim Gen Volan Narnima on the Citadel received a large credit transfer from the fleet. Gen Volan purchased tech, including high-end weapon mounts and kinetic barrier emitters from several ship service centers on Ilium. Ship service centers. On Ilium, another Quarian Pilgrim, unidentified, was observed searching for a ship traveling close to the Perseus Veil. The Pilgrim was later heard saying that his pilgrimage was recalled. Data suggests the Quarian fleet is withdrawing its pilgrims and upgrading ships for combat somewhere near the Perseus Veil. This could be a reaction to the Reaper invasion, but no formal offer or request for assistance has come. Intel suggests the Quarians may instead be preparing for conflict with the Geth. That more info does nothing. Okay. And Normandy Manifest, Crew Manifest. This is just where you can change how they look. Stick with that. Sure. Alright, Executive Officer. We're gonna hold off on that. Marine Officer. Hold off on that. I can't even assign anyone for those things. Detachment strength. Can't do anything more with that. Non-crew specialists, yes. On standby, nobody. Okay. Equipment manifest. Primary vehicle, the Kodiak. Secondary vehicle, none. Guard dog, KI9. Alert condition, stand down. Yeah, sure, we'll leave that stand down. Okay, finally. And this is just the war terminal, which that hasn't changed, has it? No. Vocational Code Handbook. A. Infantry Space Rated Naval Marines. In order to qualify for an A ranking, one must have completed qualification through either B5 or undergo special combat training with equivalent background, such as former mercenaries, etc. A7 requires completion of the Hostile Environment and Survival course. It is prerequisite rating for entering the Special Forces. Alright, I'm not gonna read all this out loud. We'll just hover over it. Like scroll through it. For you to read at your own leisure if you really care. Quarians, Pilgrimage. When Quarians of the migrant fleet reach young adulthood, they must leave their birth ship and find a new crew to accept them as permanent residents. To prove themselves, they must recover something of value. This is offered to their prospective captain as proof that they will not be a mere burden on the shoestring resources of the ship. This process is called the pilgrimage. Stripped of ritual, the pilgrimage is merely an attempt to maintain genetic diversity within the small, relatively isolated population bases that make up the migrant fleet. If the young stayed and married within their birth vessel, the risk of interbreeding would increase sharply. Quarians are surgically fitted with their various immunity-boosting implants in preparation for leaving on pilgrimage. Having grown up within the sterile, controlled environments of the migrant fleet ships, Quarians have virtually no natural immune system. Systems Alliance Military Doctrine. The Alliance military is of great concern to the galaxy. At first contact with the Turians, they were completely inexperienced. Turian disdain changed to respect after the relief of Shang-Chi, where humans surprised them with novel technology and tactics. The human devotion to understanding and adapting to modern space warfare stunned the staid council races. For hundreds of years they had lived behind secure walls of long-proven technologies and tactics. The council regards the Alliance as a sleeping giant. Less than 3% of humans volunteer to serve in their military, a lower proportion than any other species. While competent, Alliance soldiers are neither as professional as the Turians nor skilled as the Asari. Their strengths lie in fire support, flexibility, and speed. They make up for lack of numbers and sophisticated technical support, BIs, drones, artillery, electronic warfare, and emphasis on mobility and individual initiative. Their doctrine is not based on absorbing and dishing out heavy shocks like the Turians and Krogan. Rather, they bypass enemy strong points and launch deep into their rear, cutting supply lines and destroying headquarters and support units, leaving enemies to wither on the vine. On defense, the human military is a rapid reaction force that lives by Sun Tzu's maxim: he who tries to defend everything defends nothing. Garrisons are intended for scouting rather than combat, avoiding engagements to observe and report on invaders using drones. The token garrisons of human colonies make it easy for alien powers to secure them, for which the Alliance media criticizes the military. However, the powerful fleets stationed at phase gate nexuses such as Arcturus are just a few hours or days from any colony within their sphere of responsibility. In the event of an attack, they respond with overwhelming force. Military jargon. Again, I'm just going to scroll through this one. There's more here. Let's see. What else? Military ranks. The Alliance uses a modified version of the ranking system that has been used for hundreds of years. Soldiers are classified into rank-and-file enlisted personnel, experienced non-commissioned officers, NCOs, and specially trained officers. The divide between naval personnel and ground forces, Marines, is small. Ground units are a specialized branch of the fleet, just as fighter squadrons are. The unity of command is imposed by the futility of fighting without control of orbit. Without the Navy, any army is pointless. The Marines, as a matter of pride, maintain some of their traditional rank titles. For example, Marines have privates and corporals instead of servicemen. In descending order of responsibility, the ranks of the Alliance are... and then I'm just going to scroll through it. Alright. Let's continue.
Hey, Commander. You know, I had my doubts about the Council. But after years of ignoring your warnings, they're finally willing to step up and tell you they just can't help.
Okay, I don't like that here. I'm going to switch that back.
They're doing everything they can.
Did they at least validate our parking? Well, let me know if you want me to get them on the channel and then hang up on them. You know, for old time's sake.
Mod settings. I believe that's in Project Variety? No. No, it has to be in Project Variety. Character settings. Major character settings. Where is he not a major character? Is he a minor character? No, he would be a major character. Joker, 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 Joker. There he is. There we go. I'll probably have to wait till I see him next till his hair's updated.
Commander?
I assume everything is going well up here?
Edie and I are just enjoying the calm before the shitstorm, Commander.
How's the ship running, Edie?
I always work at optimal capacity.
Well, the Normandy's good. Everything's upgraded and better than ever. If we're talking about the crew, you'd probably have to ask a people person.
We can't beat the Reapers just with a skeleton crew.
I have the capacity to accommodate the slacking of any number of productively suspect humans, Shepard.
What happened to the rest of the old crew? Maybe we could recruit them. Lots of Cerberus people think they're doing the right thing.
Perhaps you should consider upgrading my hardware.
Retrofits are always a pain in the ass.
Ooh. Oh, there's the Widow. That's the annoying part, is the recharge speed on my powers is going to be lower now, but I think it's probably worth it. Oh, I can get a 6. Alright, well, we'll do that. Now what's my weapon weight at? Nice, 87 instead of 90 something.
Hey there.
Hey, Commander, I saw this thing in the shuttle when I was flying it to save the day. I figured a historical artifact of this magnitude should not be left to the Reapers. Just make sure to credit me when we give it to a museum after the war. James. Ooh, James doing pull-ups. Just leave him alone. Let's not ever talk to him. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Lieutenant Steve Cortez, shuttle pilot. Got news about our supply chains, Commander.
Good work, Lieutenant. What have you got?
Dios! Straight to business without even a hello? You two need to chill out.
So you do care, Mr. Vega? Or is that the Cerveza talking again?
So what's happening with our supply chains, Lieutenant?
Alliance procurement chains are in chaos, but the Citadel's economy is still running. I can network to Citadel retailers. You can view inventory and make purchases right from this console.
When I network to a new store, I'll let you know.
It does cost more to coordinate delivery to the Normandy, so it's cheaper to buy supplies when you're there.
So you're my shuttle pilot, but you're setting up procurement chains?
I wasn't assigned as Normandy's pilot. Not much need for one on a dry dock ship. I was overseeing the retrofit of the cargo hold. I'm quite familiar with the operation and maintenance of the UT-47 Kodiak and the M44 Hammerhead. In my experience, it made sense for me to take over as shuttle pilot when we left Earth. Especially given Mr. Vega's love of mid-air collisions.
To save the day, pendejo.
I'm also responsible for logistics, making sure the armory and shuttle are properly stocked and maintained.
Do you maintain this armory?
I share that duty with our illustrious Mr. Vega. Though I believe the only weapon he really cares to maintain is himself.
You know you love the show, Esteban.
The first retrofit we did was to move the armory down from Deck 2. I'm not sure what Cerberus engineers were thinking. Now you get off the elevator, pick your gear, and head right into the shuttle.
Just like the original Normandy.
Welcome back to the Alliance, Commander.
The Kodiak seems a bit different.
Good eyes, Commander. This is the UT-47A Kodiak. It's got an upgraded EZO core and prototype stealth technology based on the Normandy design. For quick drops, I can get you in and out virtually undetected. She flies like a brick, so that's why you need a good pilot.
What happened to the M44 Hammerhead?
It was sent to the tech labs for a retrofit. To afford mobility with such a small EZO core, its design sacrificed armor plating. The lab engineers are trying to improve that. After the Reaper invasion, those labs are probably just a pile of rubble.
How long have you been with the Alliance?
About 10 years. I enlisted in First Fleet serving on the SSV Hawking, flying F-61 Tridents mostly. I love the Trident. It practically dances in low atmo. I spent as much time tinkering on my bird as flying her. Got a bit of a reputation.
So, you can fly fighters and fix them.
Yeah, and I got a knack for procurement too. They were grooming me for CAG, but my skill set made me more valuable commanding a flight deck. They assigned me to the Normandy retrofit team about 5 months ago to oversee all cargo bay modifications.
You were stationed on Earth. Do you have family there?
I'm an only child. Lost my parents years ago. I had a husband back when I was stationed at Ferris Fields. The collectors took out the whole colony. I'd rather not talk about it.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, Commander.
Ready to talk to James? I guess so.
Hey, Shepard. How'd it go with the council?
This is gonna be interesting.
Non-committal. Unhelpful.
Bet they still wanted you to help them out, no?
Yeah. We're gonna rescue a Turian Primarch from Palaven.
Sounds like fun. Never been to the Turian homeworld. You down here for a reason?
Just came down to talk.
Great. Not sure what there is to talk about. You already know my service record.
I don't, actually. I didn't have access to personnel records when we met.
Right. Forgot about that. Well... Think you can dance and talk at the same time?
I know I can't, but I want to see how this goes.
I think I can handle it.
Not since I can't do the interrupts.
Okay, loco. Let's dance.
Don't push your luck, Vega. With age comes wisdom. And rank.
Ha! You sound like my old CO.
Oh yeah? And who was that?
Captain Tony. He was a hard-ass son of a bitch, but a good leader.
Was?
Died. With most of my squad. Protecting a civilian colony from a collector attack.
And the colony?
It was either them, or the intel we had on the collectors. Intel we could have used to destroy them. I chose the intel.
Tough choice. But it was the right call.
You think so?
I would have done the same.
That's what's funny. You were doing the same thing. You took out the collectors. We never needed that intel.
You didn't know. You can't blame yourself, Vega.
Who says I'm blaming myself?
Just a guess.
You a shrink too?
Nope. But that stunt back on Mars was reckless. You're lucky to be alive.
So?
So, maybe you don't care if you live or die.
Or maybe... I'm just willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to end this goddamn war!
Ooh!
Good to hear it. But you sacrifice yourself, or my ship, needlessly? That's unacceptable.
Thanks for the pep talk.
Anytime.
Hey, thanks for the dance, loco.
Loco, huh?
I can think of worse things to call you.
Long as you remember who's in charge, you can call me whatever you want.
Oh, I won't forget.
And all of a sudden, my bloody nose is gone. Okay.
Hey again. What's up?
I take it you and Lieutenant Cortez know each other.
Yeah, Esteban did a stint on Fel Prime where me and my squad were stationed. I caught up with him on Earth a few months back. He's a good guy. Just don't tell him I said so. It'd go to his head.
You got family back on Earth?
Yeah, an uncle. Retired military. Got a few cousins I haven't heard from in a while.
You and your uncle close?
Yep. He was the reason I joined the Marines and was about the only good thing in my life after my mom died.
No dad?
He's there. Somewhere. But I'm not sure I'd call him family. Not anymore. I would like to find out how my uncle's doing, though.
What's with you and the nicknames?
It's just my way of remembering people. Some people just don't match their names, you know? So, I just give them a new one.
So, I'm a loco, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty crazy, but the shit you've done makes me look sane.
You had a hard time leaving Earth. You still want to head back?
Hell yeah. But I get it now. It's not where I'd be most useful. Not yet, anyway.
We'll get back there.
I know. And I'll do whatever it takes to get us there, Commander.
Maybe no more shuttle crashes.
No promises now that I've gotten the taste for it. Besides, I like to keep Esteban on his toes.
You mentioned a mission you had against the Collectors. What happened?
Pretty much what I said. Things went foobar, and I was one of the few to make it out. If you want the rest of the story, you're gonna have to get me really drunk, or...
Or what?
That's about it. Sorry, Commander. Just not interested in talking about that. Next topic? I'll talk to you later. You bet. Sounds like the Turians got hit pretty hard by the Reapers. So, the Turians want us to go find one of their politicians, huh? Nice to see we're being put to good use. Well, maybe we'll get to kick some Reaper ass while rescuing the Primarch. Hey, Commander.
Commander, welcome back to the Normandy. Or maybe you should be saying that to me.
Engineer Adams, what are you doing here?
I was put in charge of the drive core retrofits. My experience on the Normandy SR-1 made me an obvious choice.
So, what do you think of our SR-2?
She's incredible. If there's one nice thing I can say about Cerberus, it's that they know how to build a ship. And about that, Cerberus, I mean, I owe you an apology.
How so?
Back when you got this ship, Dr. Chakwas contacted me, asking me to help with your mission against the Collectors. I refused. I didn't have your back, and I'm sorry for that.
Why didn't you join us?
I saw what happened to you when the Normandy went down. I didn't trust that it was really you, and I certainly didn't trust Cerberus. Also, as an officer of the Alliance, I don't just leave my post, you know?
Your Alliance first. That's the way it should be.
Thank you, Commander. Glad to be aboard.
Is your family okay?
My parents are serving on Viridian Zenith, an Alliance agricultural vessel. My sister is a navigator on the SSV Benjamin Davis. Happy to report that both vessels are safely under Hackett's command.
Does the new Normandy stack up to the old SR-1?
Stack up. It blows the old ship away. The Tantalus drive core has been completely overhauled. The SR-2 might be nearly twice the size, but the new drive core is 3 times bigger. This ship can fly. That said, Cerberus isn't too high on safety. If pushed past her limits, this core would vent into engineering. Guess it gives my team incentive to keep her well balanced during a firefight.
Do your job or get vaporized.
Pretty much. I noticed you upgraded the kinetic barriers with cyclonic technology. Should help reduce the draw when under missile fire.
Hopefully that means fewer vaporized engineers?
The IES stealth system is significantly improved. It can handle a higher blue shift of our emissions.
And that means?
We should be able to drop out of FTL without triggering every sensor in range. Very handy for stealth reconnaissance. All in all, the Normandy is a marvel of engineering.
What do you think of Edie?
We had a good talk during the retrofit. A little strange at first, talking shop with an AI.
AI? I thought Edie posed as a VI to keep the likes of you from unplugging her.
Yeah, but I saw through her. Have you seen her hardware? Processing power is off the charts. And then there were the problems that kept fixing themselves. If I hadn't had her pegged, I would have sworn I was losing it.
You never expressed any skepticism, Lieutenant Adams.
I figured I'd better play it safe with the Cerberus AI, Edie. No offense.
None taken. As long as you keep your fingers out of my cognizance processors.
In the beginning, I tried disconnecting her from key processes without giving myself away. Easier said than done. But Joker seemed to trust her, and in time I saw her advantages. Even grew to like her.
I wish that he had read that line correctly. It's one of the most annoying things.
Carry on, Adams.
In this game.
Aye, aye, sir.
I can't afford that yet. Not right now.
How's your new assignment working out, Allers?
Fairly normal, except for the unshackled AI, Matriarch Benezia's daughter, and the communicator that can reach Earth. The first two, I can deal with. That last one gets my attention.
So what are you asking for exactly?
Anything from Earth is the lead story right now. That's not opinion, it's fact.
Maybe I can pass on a few non-classified progress updates.
Seriously? You just doubled my ratings. I don't need FaceTime, just a data upload.
Tell people what's really happening on Earth. We need long recruiting lines on every planet after you air a story.
I can do this, Commander. Remind me to tell you about the time I made an Elcor cry. Commander.
Who do I recognize here? We have Caden, Presley, Jenkins.
Commander Shepard, it's a pleasure to see you again.
You're the drone from the Shadow Broker's ship.
Dr. Tassoni now refers to me as Glyph, instead of Info Drone, 95% of the time. If you have a moment, I'd like to draw your attention to a terminal in her office. It analyzes information packages. If you find any useful data, I can research upgrades for you.
And what should I be looking for?
I'll inform you if you've found relevant data. When you do, return to this terminal for your choices. In the meantime, Dr. Tassoni would like to speak with you. Have a pleasant day.
Meeting with the council didn't go too well, huh?
It was less than ideal.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
Whole worlds are being lost to the Reapers. What more will it take?
Who knows? Hell, maybe the council's just taking petty revenge for Shepard hanging up on them all those years ago.
Wait, Shepard did what?
Oh, sorry, I think we're going through some dark matter. Hello? Hello?
Looks like you brought more than just that drone from your ship.
A few things were necessary. I'd be a very silent shadow broker without data feeds.
So you have access to your resources?
What I can get. We'll need it to research this Prothean device. Until we understand precisely what it does, it's far too dangerous to use.
Did the Protheans actually complete this weapon?
You mean, will it work? They wouldn't have poured their last resources into this device if they thought otherwise. But we really need to find out just what kind of weapon they left us.
It'd be nice to know we're not kids playing around with a loaded gun.
Absolutely. The damage it could cause if it backfired is unthinkable. People were finally starting to listen before the Reapers came. If we'd had a little more time, maybe Earth wouldn't. I'm sorry. I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
The thought means a lot, Liara. Thanks.
You're welcome. And since I didn't mention it before, it's good to be back, Shepard.
This terminal contains non-essential correspondence from your allied forces. Dr. Tassoni has granted you access.
Prothean notes 2171 to 2185. Glyph, remind me to clean up these old notes. Perhaps reviewing them will lead to something useful for the Prothean device. Liara. 2171. The University of Ceres agreed to sponsor me at the Prothean dig on Dretira. Very exciting. Professor Hennel is heading the expedition herself. Maybe I can ask her for her opinion on my thesis outline. Attachment. Thesis on Prothean First Contact Protocols. 2174. I believe Dr. Joshon was right to suggest that the Prothean artifacts we unearthed are from the Third Age, not the Fourth. What an embarrassing mistake. At least he seemed to approve of the rest of the paper. Attachment. Paper on a comparison of Prothean technology to modern Asari circuit logic. 2183, Part 1. I'm going on the Therum expedition. I never thought I'd gain permission to visit the Prothean ruins there, but the University of Ceres must have secured the funding after all. Now to pack. Attachment. Paper on the end of the Prothean Empire. 2183, Part 2. Goddess! This human, Shepard, has the key to comprehending the Protheans on an instinctual subconscious level. If only I could have been there when the commander touched the beacon on Eden Prime. I'll try to learn more from this cipher on board the Normandy. The involvement of the Reapers is troubling, to say the least. Attachment. Paper on the end of the Prothean Empire with correction notes. 2185. I reviewed the old Shadow Broker's footage of the Collectors. It's chilling to know that they are the Prothean's husks. At least nothing sentient could possibly remain after what the Reapers did to them. Attachment. Paper on Prothean biology. Message from Operative Farron to the broker. I made contact with Tazik yesterday. The look on his face was priceless. He was not happy you put me in charge of scouting the Terminus systems, but he's doing a good job of keeping us alive. I've never seen so many pirates and mercs on edge. The black market's unreliable, and it's getting harder to make contact with suppliers. The Alliance won't be able to rely on it as a source of the device's materials for long if things get worse. Some of the other operatives think we should cut our losses now, but I just keep asking them, when did the odds ever stop the broker? Farron. P.S. I hope you finally got our little friend Droney to stop saying shadow and broker out loud in the same sentence to anyone in sight. Alright.
Please, enjoy your day.
You as well, Cliff. Nothing in here for me to pick up, right?
Commander?
Everything okay down here, Doctor?
The Alliance team cleaned up and restocked, but it's still my old med bay. Feels like home.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Let's waste no time. If I may, I'd like to examine you.
Nothing wrong with me, is there?
No, but we should keep an eye on all those cybernetic implants Cerberus grafted into you.
Expensive stuff bringing me back.
And worth every penny. Let's just make sure everything is okay.
Guess a checkup never hurts. Just no scalpel this time, Doc.
Alas, to my great disappointment, it is nothing invasive. I'm just going to run some diagnostics on your implants, and it'll take a few readings. Good. Your implants are showing little sign of rejection. Just keep up that positive outlook of yours, Commander, and your scars shouldn't return. That's it. You're the picture of health.
You've never mentioned any of your family.
None to speak of, really. I'm the last of a prestigious line of medical professionals. The Alliance is my spouse, and you're all my children. I'm blessed with many close friends. But with each Alliance vessel taken, I lose one or two. We need to end this war.
How's our inventory of meds?
The medbay was fully stocked before you left Earth. We should be good for a long time, even given the amount of fire you take each day.
Do you ever regret working for Cerberus?
We didn't work for them. We used them. If I were to feel anything, it would be guilt. We took their money, took their best people, took their best ship. We used them to defeat the Collectors, and now we are using their resources against them. So no, I don't regret it one bit.
I'll see you around, Doctor.
Take care, Shepard. They just don't make them like this anymore, Shepard.
Alright, I was going to switch out. I don't want to reset, I want to switch out resign power bonuses. There we go. Oh, I don't have enough credits to do that. Okay, we'll wait. We shall wait. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for...
Commander, you've got a new message at your private terminal.
Alright, we'll read the new message. Liara to Sony, thanks for stopping by. Hope you like what I've done with the room. I'll let you know when I have more data on the Crucible. What happened to the Prothean data disks we collected back on the SR-1? They could be useful for working on the Crucible. Alright. Oh, and let's make Liara the XO if she's not already. Oh wait, sorry, wrong thing. Crew manifest. Alright, that's gonna do it for this episode. Next episode we'll actually start doing some missions. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be kept up to date on future uploads.